Sup everyone, I'm your female otaku and I'm here to review the very first episode of Boku no Hero Academia. Now, before I get into this review, I just have to say right now that if you hear any extremely strong winds outside, I can't do anything about that. It's not exactly a storm, but for the past like 6 hours there have been really strong winds. Okay, so if you hear that, I can't do anything about that. Okay, so I do apologize. But anyway, so I really enjoyed this first episode. Manga readers, I hope you enjoyed this first episode as well. To me though, even though I'm an anime only, this episode touched me. Now you guys are probably thinking, Sloan, how the heck does this anime touch you? Like, you're not a manga reader, so how did this anime touch you? Backstory. I'm gonna give you a little backstory on myself, and don't worry, this is connected to Boku no Hero Academia. So, to me, I felt like a little kid watching this, because when I was little, I was just like Izuku. I was obsessed with superheroes, hoping one day that I would wake up with my fire powers or my ice powers, or I could fly, and I was obsessed with superheroes all throughout my childhood. And some of my favorite shows or movies were superhero related, and get this, I made my own superhero comic. Yeah, this one, you guys can barely see the writing here, but it says the date, like, it's like May 15th, 2008. 10 years old. I was in the 4th grade. Me and my other friend, we were obsessed with superheroes, so, man, this is crazy. Let me show you. This is, so this is in pencil, and it doesn't look the best at the moment, so yeah, there's stains. This is my friend's drawing. I didn't draw this. This was how I drew. I called them the Tough Girls. Yeah, I started out with 4 of them, and of course I got better as the story went along. And as you notice, there isn't any speech bubbles, and that's because I remembered everything that they used to say, and I kept drawing the Tough Girls. I made 11 volumes. This is volume 11, and this is how they look. The last time I drew the Tough Girls was in 2011. Yeah. This is how they advanced over the years. So yeah, long story short, superheroes, they mean so much to me. And I felt just like Izuku, because Izuku is such a superhero fanboy, writing down everything, all the strengths and weaknesses, all the new upcoming superheroes, what they could do to help everyone, writes about the villains, and I'm just like, Izuku is me. Oh my gosh. And just the fact what made me feel more like a kid is that I woke up out of bed excited to see a brand new show, a brand new episode. I felt like a kid. This is amazing. That's why it touched me so much. And it also had a lot of comic book feels to it, which I believe that's how it's supposed to feel. Now, if you've seen my One Punch Man reviews, then you know that I was a comic book geek before I was an otaku. So throughout middle school and beginning of high school, I used to read comics and was obsessed, with the Marvel movies. Still am, by the way. And yeah, that was just a little backstory on Sloan. Sorry that took much longer than I expected, but I just had to get this out. I'm going to love this anime because it made me feel like a kid. Thank you, Bones. Thank you. Okay, back with this episode. So, we find out the origins of how the planet got its superpowers, and one day there was a glowing baby. So this glowing baby gave the entire world superpowers. Only they don't call it superpowers, they call it quirks. So I find that a little odd. Like, why not just call it superpowers? Why not just call it powers? I don't know, but they call it quirks. Personally, I don't really think it can be a quirk since everybody has them. So how is it a quirk? I don't know. But like I said, never mind. Ignore that. So I gotta say, the soundtrack, that soundtrack is amazing. It suit every single scene. It was epic at some points, like during the superhero fights, like again, it just made me feel like more like a kid. I was like, ah, like that's how it was for me. So I really want to talk about Izuku's enemy, rival, somewhat, his bully, we could say. I did not catch his name. I don't know if they said his name. If anyone can tell me his name, please let me know. But I really like this guy. I like him a lot. I want to learn more about him. See, he is, the bully, and he's trying to get into like this top superhero school, and so is Izuku, even though Izuku doesn't have any powers. And it seems that the bully, his powers is like fire, flames, or something like that. That's what it seems like. We didn't really get to see the full extent of his powers. I want to know why he wants to be the best, why he picks on Izuku. Does he just find it like funny in general? Like, I want to learn more about him. I find his character pretty interesting. And Izuku runs into his number one idol, and that is All Might. All Might seems to be somewhat of a, I don't want to say parody, somewhat mimicking American comic book superheroes. He spoke a lot of English, and he had this one, like, I don't know, power or move or something that he called like Texas something. Was it Texas Strike or something like that? And I'm just like, what? Really? So do we never actually see his face? If not, that's fine. I kind of like that he's blackened out in a lot of parts. It makes him look more of that classic superhero. So I really like that. It honestly felt like a comic book. And so we leave off with Izuku asking All Might if he can still be a superhero even though he doesn't have any powers. I only have one complaint though with the episode, and that was the preview. Like you know how at the end of the ending theme there's usually, or most of the time, there's a episode preview of the next week's episode, a sneak peek, and I almost always watch those, but this episode preview had a lot of spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled or anything, then I suggest you click out of the review right now. But there was so much spoilers of next week's episode, and I was really surprised. It's supposed to be a sneak peek, not really a, hey, this is everything that's gonna happen next week. Like, we find out that All Might, he can only use his powers for a certain amount of time, and that the bully guy, he's a hostage, and the villain that was captured in the bottle, he escapes, and that All Might, he needs someone else to step in for him. Like, that just spoiled the entire episode for me. I was very surprised. So lesson learned, don't watch the episode previews for Boku no Hero Academia. They are filled with spoilers. But overall, I absolutely loved this episode, and I'm going to continue to love Boku no Hero Academia. I am sad to hear that there's only going to be 12 episodes, because I was hoping there was going to be 24 episodes. But I'll enjoy it as long as I can, and I really hope that it'll get like a second core or a second season. I would love that. I really would. I'm a kid again, guys. I'm a kid again. Okay, well, catch you later as I review Ajin and ReZero. I'm your female otaku. Sayonara.